Hi guys, happy Easter! On this joyous occasion of Easter, this is a message to everyone who follows Christianity. As a fellow Christian myself, I want to ask you a very simple question. What do the 10 Commandments teach us? One of the things it teaches us is, Thou shalt not kill. We follow this commandment with humans, right? But we don't apply this for animals. Why not? Did God say anywhere that this particular commandment is only meant to be practiced on humans? Does it say, Thou shalt not kill except for animals? No, it doesn't have any caveats or exceptions. It's very simple. You should not kill. Period. Then why in the name of God do we pay for the killing of animals? Think about it. When God created the world, Adam and Eve were in a garden, the Garden of Eden. A garden of fruits and vegetables, obviously. There is no mention of animals in this garden. It implies that Adam and Eve subsisted on a plant-based diet. Only when sin arrives in the form of the serpent do we see the mention of meat and animal skins. We also see the mention of adultery, incest, and murder only after sin. Think about what that tells us. But you may say, well, there are some verses that talk about eating meat being okay. Look, I have read those verses too. But again, all of that came after sin came into our world. Here is another verse in the Bible that says, See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. Again, there is no mention of meat or animal products, but you might say God told us we can rule the world and all its creatures. Actually, this is what God says. Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Now, many people have interpreted this word dominion to mean that we have power over the animals and can do whatever we want with this power. But does having this power mean that we should misuse it? Kings used to have dominion over their subjects, right? Does that mean they can do whatever they want with them or treat them as harshly as they want? Doesn't dominion also imply responsibility or providing protection to the creatures God created? Humans were entrusted to take care of these animals, and they were called to rule His creation in the sense of caring for it and seeking its flourishing, just as a good king or a queen would seek the flourishing of his or her kingdom. But did we do that? No. And then you might say, but Jesus ate fish. Look, we don't live in that age of famine or droughts. Those times were different. When Jesus made the fish multiply, people had nothing to eat and had to eat something to survive. We don't need that in today's day and age. What we need today is to live a life of compassion and love towards all beings that God made. Today, we have access to fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, seeds, and we don't need to cause so much pain and suffering to these innocent animals. Do you think a loving God would ever support the way we treat animals today? Cows are raped for milk. Semen is forcibly removed from bulls through electric shocks. Day-old male chicks are suffocated to death because they are not needed in the egg industry. Hens are confined in small cages their whole lives, unable to move, sitting in their own feces. Pigs who have the intelligence of a 3-year-old child are slaughtered without any mercy. Goats are killed in front of each other, even though they feel pain and suffering and fear just like us. I mean, this is crazy, right? And these are just a few examples. All of this that you heard just now, does that seem like the work God wants us to do, or the work that the devil wants us to do? Even in terms of the environment, the meat and the dairy industry is one of the leading causes of environmental degradation and the destruction of this planet that God created and entrusted us with. If we know all this now, and we don't have any need to eat animals or animal products to sustain or be healthy, then why would we continue to participate in a system that blatantly dishonors God's creation and causes so much violence? Now, some people say that God made these animals for our pleasure. If He really created them for our pleasure, and if that was their only purpose, why would He give them the ability to also feel pain? This doesn't seem like a very compassionate thing to do, right? If Jesus really said all meat is okay, then surely eating cats and dogs should be okay to eat as well. But I don't see many Christians being okay with that. That's because we applied some moral agency and we chose what we eat and not eat. So why don't we use the same moral agency to choose to not harm and inflict intentional cruelty over innocent animals? These animals that we eat suffer and feel pain just like cats and dogs. And here's the thing. If God had really created animals so that we can eat them, then we wouldn't be having diseases like the bird flu or the swine flu or even the coronavirus today. All these viruses originate from animals. And if we still think that we are superior or at the top of some food chain, then especially at this time when animals have brought our entire world to a standstill, we must really rethink our position in the world. Wouldn't it be better if we all lived kindly and peacefully together? Every species, from the bees to the birds, to the lion, to the deer, to the ant, to the bats, have their own purpose in our ecosystem. The animals that we domesticated and the ones that we normally eat, like the cows and the goats and the pigs and the hens, were all wild animals in the past who used to roam our planet freely. If we didn't breed them artificially, then we wouldn't be having them in our planet in the first place. We are literally playing God with God's creation by unnaturally bringing these animals into existence. I'm sorry if my message offends or hurts anyone, but my words are not as hurtful as the knife against that chicken's throat, or the squeals of the pig fighting for his life, or the fear of the goat watching his friends getting murdered, or the fish desperately flailing its tails trying to stay alive. Humans were made in the image of God, a God who is compassionate, a God who said, "Love one another as I have loved you." Let's not be selective in our love. Let's celebrate His resurrection and His sacrifice with love and compassion for all. Please go vegan.